Wake up in the morning and I celebrate. Say my prayers and I meditate. Wake up in the morning, then I levitate. Do a sauna, pranayama, meditate. Wake up in the morning and I celebrate. Say my prayers and then I meditate. Wake up in the morning, then I levitate. Do a sauna.
Back here with another episode with Cultured Unplugged. I'm here with my man Marcus with Daily Growth Yoga. Hey, today we're talking about black mental health, making sure that your health is right. Hopefully I get inspired sitting down here having a conversation with my man Marcus that I'm going to definitely do something in the gym as well on a holistic basis. This brother right here is spiritual. I want to make sure that you get this tool so you stay unplugged, so don't go anywhere. Let's get it unplugged. Brother, what's going on?
What's good, man? It's good to see
Good,
you,
man. Good, brother. So, man, how you been?
Look, bro, I've been good, bro. It's been a minute. It's been a long time since we've seen each other.
Long time, man.
And we know each other from way back. So, I've been going through some life,
Okay, that's what's up.
That's the best way I can put it.
So, I know from our history, man, we done been through so many different things. It seems like you on this holistic journey. And, with Culture Unplugged, all the fans and people that actually subscribe, they want to basically get a perspective that's really for them. I'm focused on young men and their growth. I seen you transition. I went through my transition. So walk me through, first of all, your backstory, your bio. Like what are you all about? For those who don't know you, I know you to what I can extend. But as far as what you got going on, and walk us through that real quick.
Well, bro, as you know, I'm from Baltimore. So,
Okay.
I was born and raised in Baltimore City, right outside the city limits. So I was like one of them kids who kind of dealt with both vibes. Like I got the county vibe, I got the city vibe. City is usually where you see, a little bit of the rougher parts of life. County is a little chill. There's some opportunity in the county. So I grew up with a nice balance as far as perspective on life. But the one thing I can say about Baltimore in general, and even today to a certain degree, the thing that wasn't really included in that was like personal wellness. And spirituality wasn't a word that got used too often, especially outside of the context of religion. So there was just a slight disconnect for me growing up because I didn't really have any examples of what somebody who focused on wellness would even look like. Like somebody who did practice yoga. Like I had athletes around me. Like I was an athlete and everything. I was a Division I track athlete by the time I got to college. But I still didn't have that like personal awareness or that association with my wellness and my health that took it to like the next level that it did as a grown person. So by the time we met and I was in Virginia, I had gone through college, went to Hampton University, graduated, went through a couple decent jobs and made my way to Yellow Pages where we met.
Right.
And that was really like the best corporate job I had in my entire career, to be real with you.
That's what's up.
And that was just like, that was the point of my life where I had accomplished all the stuff that I learned from my environment, like that you're supposed to do. Like I kind of hit the ceiling for like, yo, this is everything they told me to do. But I'm here, and I just turned 25 years old. So I'm like, now what?
Right.
What's important now?
Right.
I recently like left. The last job I had before working at Yellow Pages was Coca-Cola, and I left because I was there selling products and really on the business side, so advertising and coming up with ideas to make people buy more products. It's something that I didn't even drink myself. I was figuring out how to get people to buy more Coca-Cola. I don't drink Coca-Cola myself. I stopped drinking soda when I was a kid. So it was just, I had several issues with that job and its complexity that it was bringing to my psyche about like how I was living versus what I was working with. Coming to Yellow Pages, I thought I would solve that because I realized, like, all right, well, in advertising like this, I get to choose who I work with. I get to choose what message I push. I get to decide on the wording and the messaging and how to make it appropriate for what I feel like should be shared. So in taking more control, I did find something that was much better. And it gave me the space to like discover the other stuff that really inspired me. Like what I was really looking for was, I I think what I was really looking for was an avenue to have a better relationship with myself. And I think that's really what wellness is. Like, if you break wellness down to what it really is, it's the act or participation in the act of taking care of yourself. Just like you would take care of somebody you care about, and you would call that, well, I'm working on my relationship right now. You take care of yourself, you work on that relationship with yourself, you're literally supporting your wellness.
Right.
Whether that's mental, physical, spiritual, in any way that you're doing that, you're supporting your wellness. And that was what, like, that job at Yellow Pages, like, I had the money, I had the time, and yeah.
Pause. I saw the camera went out. Oh, it's still recording. It took off the lighting.
Probably just adjusted to
Yeah.
the lights you got.
That's probably what it is. Okay. Okay, so talk to me. I know you were talking into that whole thing with Yellow Pages. Where was that transformation for you?
Just from the space it gave me to, I guess, kind of discover what it was that was important as far as, that relationship with myself.
Mm-hmm.
So in that time, I found myself wanting to work with a lot of Black businesses. I found that was something that really supported how I felt about my job. Then I found myself wanting to work with, like, holistic health businesses. So I went out and sought out, like, the only holistic doctor in the area and tried to work with her. That didn't end up working out. That actually played out to a story I told you earlier with our former boss that didn't go so well. That was the situation. We was at the holistic doctor's office, and he come in with the sales pitch, and it's that's not what this is. This is the vibe,
No doubt.
And that was what I was seeking out. So, as I started to become more aware of all these things, like meeting a holistic doctor, having somewhere to go, and then just doing my own research, and I had taken a couple trips to Cali at this time. My peoples in Cali that really, took me in when I eventually moved out there later on that year, later on in 2016, they were really people that just had embraced the holistic lifestyle completely. And they were the one who I was, checking in on was somebody who came from right here where we at, bro. Like, bro lived 10 minutes away. This the man who did some of my first tattoos. Like, this my bro. So I'm like, I know you grew up in the same environment. Like, literally, that county-city relationship of being on both sides. Seen them over east doing stuff before, seen them over west. Seen them in the county, seen them in the city. So I'm like, I know you've seen how I've seen, but you're out here, and I'm seeing you, like, really taking amazing care of yourself. It blew my mind. Because I realize now, it was the first time I ever had a mirror. A Black man, somebody who came from my circumstances. So there wasn't the excuse or easy way out of, like, nah, it was different for him. He had it easy, but nah. I know for a fact his life was harder than mine. Because I know some of his life before him. I know some of the stuff he dealt with. He was on his own a lot earlier than I was.
Got you.
You dig what I'm saying?
I feel you, and I think that sometimes we have to take that walk as far as where we want to go, and the people. Sometimes I would tell you, for me in my journey, I've come in situations where it had to be like a wake up call. Like, it had to be something to kind of just shake me that I can't automatically assume that person's gonna be the best for my energy, and I want to be able to navigate through that. So, for you, walk me through, like, okay, that first experience where you're like, I'm gonna be a vegan today. This is what's gonna be my thing.
Well, it was actually that experience while being out there in LA in April 2016. Like, okay. I caught up with my mans that I spoke on that was from here, and it was like because the excuse wasn't there of, like, yes, your experience ain't been the same, or you don't understand life the way I'm understanding it. I recognized that because he had so much more to deal with than me, that he had made it to this point, so it was definitely possible for me. And I'm looking at him eating vegan all day. I'm looking at him, being able to do more things physically. Like, I'm talking about, we climbing the mountain. He the first one up. He jogging the whole time. Everybody else is, like, trying to take a break, drink water, walk. He jogging, like, in place. Like, come on, y'all gotta breathe. Y'all gotta breathe. Like, he the one keeping everybody breathing the whole time. Wow. He the one bringing that attention. He the one, like, giving everybody the encouragement, like, literally encouraging us the whole time. And for himself, literally screaming. Like, literally screaming for himself. Like, yay, loud as possible. Like, louder than most people can use their voice ever.
Right.
He's doing it. time after time. Like, the energy was unreal at the time. I didn't even understand it. And to be real with you, that moment was the moment that, like, I got back, we went to eat. The day before the spot we went to, I ate, like, some seafood or something. And I got, like, the same wrap, and I was about to get the seafood, and I was about to get the shrimp in it again. And I had been talking to my bro all day about the vegan thing. He just been speaking on, I'm looking at what he could do on the mountain. I'm like, how he busting extra pull-ups at the top? I was too tired to breathe, bro. And I'm like, is it the food? So, all right, cool. Let me just get eggs in my joint then.
Right.
I made, like, that was the day of the first decision of, like, let me do that. And then from then it was wild because I didn't even eat eggs anymore after that. That was, like, my last time eating eggs for a while. Because I really went full vegan just to explore. It felt so good in my body. I just wanted to explore, like, what is it like to be this conscious about what I'm eating?
Got you.
And the whole journey brought me to learn, like, it's not even about being vegan necessarily. It was about conscious eating. Not eating just because, eating whatever's available. Eating because it's cheap. Eating because I feel some type of way. Got a craving. You know, because, like, 9 times out of 10, I wasn't ever really thinking about what I was getting from my food. Just besides that, you know, the immediate sustenance. So I'm not hungry anymore.
Wow. So it just became like the aha moment came, and then you just stuck with it. Because I remember, like, you was on this new wave, and you kind of, like, birthed into, you know, this holistic guru, you know what I mean? And I was like, yo, I like it. You know, it's like a hippie. Like, you got the hippie vibe with you. So, and there's nothing wrong with it, because I was like, yo, I like how, as brothers, man, like, especially black men, there's so many different variations of that. I think there's a thing about marketing and what the mainstream media likes to paint the picture of as far as how they see black men. And for me, I was like, nah, I need to be able to bring light to those brothers who, you know, they have wavelengths that's so against the grain of what people think about, you know, how we are. And I think, and that goes into a big part of it is based on health. So,
yeah, facts.
You know, I know for me, man, like, I'm on this journey trying to get myself together, you know, as far as health-wise. What would be something that you would say, you know, for you, obviously, since you were able to master it and make it like the aha moment, and it made sense for you for your future, what does that look like for a young brother who's been thinking about it, like literally want to do it? They want to be able to make, they keep on going back to the fast foods and stuff. I know for me, I like my wings. I like my wings. I like going to, I don't really do fast food like that. Every now and again, Chick-fil-A, you know. So, yeah, man, like, what would you say to that brother that struggles, you know, in that light to do that?
You know, like, it's like a lot of ways to say it, right? And depending on the person, there's, like, good ways to say it and you know, less effective ways to say it. The fact of the matter is, though, the point that has to be made is your immediate satisfaction worth your inevitable early turmoil? And the reason it has to be early and understood this early is because there's a million things that can kill you. There's a lot of stuff that can end life. A whole lot. And the fucked up part is, a lot of them are things that you don't have the ability to necessarily avoid. A lot of those things that can kill you in life, they are things that we are unaware of how to avoid, right? But there is also a large number of those things that we are aware of how to avoid. Why do you look both ways before you cross the street?
Well, obviously, I'm trying to see what's coming down the road.
Do you use blinkers when you drive?
Yeah.
Why?
Safety. Let people know that I'm about to turn right or left.
There's a lot of things that we do to make sure that we remain safe, to take care of our health, to show that we would like to remain alive. Our wellness is just another choice. It's a harder one, because taking care of yourself and eating healthy is a lot harder than turning your blinker on. But just like we know people who don't use their blinkers, and that may cause accidents.
Mm-hmm.
What do we say when we see it? Wow, all they had to do was use a blinker. So what do you think someone like me says when you see somebody die from a disease that is usually correlated to how we eat? The ones that prevail in black communities, like heart disease, diabetes. Like, what do you think I say? I often say to people, or might not be how I say it, but my thoughts are, that's your fault. And it's, even though I'm the type of individual who finds myself feeling as though it's my responsibility to do something about it, the only way I can live my life this way is by recognizing that it is also just as much each individual's responsibility to decide what is important.
Well, you can't say to somebody, hey, you need to put that down, da-da-da. They're ready to blow your head off. So, and I was kind of like thinking about this, even at times, and I know it's been talked about, but, when it comes to people who smoke cigarettes, there's a lot of different Surgeon General stuff about it, obviously. And I remember like when there was that whole transition back in early, mid-2000s, as far as like the Obama administration and, Michelle Obama talking about making sure that the calories, counts. You can now see on food selections when you go out to eat. So having an understanding of nutrition. So even though it's out there blatant, I'm trying to figure out, well, why is it still not changing the perspective for people that obviously know it's bad, but they continue to still eat it?
I think the answer to that is a lot simpler than most people think, because I think that, okay, so we come up in a system that decides how we're educated and what we learn in schools. So just like we don't talk about like mortgages or taxes or money and how money works in schools, we also don't talk about actual wellness. Think about your health class, right? How much of your health class is actually spent on teaching you how to eat? How much of it is spent teaching you how to cook? You got rid of home ec. How much of it is spent teaching you how to understand nutritional value of a meal? Not just the pyramid. Because the food pyramid itself, like, first of all, the food pyramid itself is like
outdated, you think?
I think it's way outdated. Like, extremely way outdated. Like, if you look at it, when's the last time it's been updated? And how much research have we done on nutrition since then? Like, it's obviously outdated, right? So with that shows the level of attention that type of education gets. The food pyramid is way outdated. You know what's not outdated?
What's that?
The stats for ESPN for yesterday. Stats for ESPN are current right now. Food pyramid is outdated. That's the priorities of the society.
Right.
So that's the answer to why is it that the information is out here, but it's not being, it doesn't seem so susceptible when into these communities that could really use it. It's really just because like it's out here, but it's not what's on the front page. It's not what's being it's not what is being shown as important. And we're just now getting to an era where that is shifting, I think, because we have a generation of people who are my age, your age. If you're 25 to like 40 right now, you are alive in a place where your mind is still malleable enough that we are the difference between, do we change how we approach wellness as a community, or do we continue to rely on what this system has told us that has continuously failed us? And that's where it's like, just paying attention to yourself. Like, intentionally eating is like the easiest, I think, approach. Because now you can just say, hey, like, I'm not going to tell you what to eat and what not to eat, but think about what you're eating more. If you think about it, right? Because if you could ask almost anybody, hey, if you think about it, and I was like, I really want something healthy, you would know where to send me to get it, right?
I would say so, yeah.
Even if you've never eaten there.
That's true.
You would know where to send me. If you got a healthy friend and you know where to send them to eat, you know where to start.
That's true. And we do make that excuse. I went and had kava today, I think it's called. Had kava today. I have a lot of diverse coworkers, so when they order stuff, usually pretty healthy. But kava. I would tell you to go kava.
I've been. CAVA kava?
Yeah,
I've been.
Okay.
Kava's cool.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah, I thought it might be. You know, I'm not into
Kava
the,
is solid. Like it's a
yeah.
Sava is a like cotton Sava. Kava is a nice like clean food spot.
That's true. That's
The
true.
food is
And I can
very
dig
clean.
that. So right now, obviously, it seems as though in society, especially our neighborhoods, our communities, and people kind of look at me kind of sideways when I bring this up, as far as, you know, the whole coronavirus situation. When it hit last year, you know, it affected more people of color. You know, that's some conversation that is almost like it becomes like a, you know, like you're disrespecting them or disrespecting somebody. I'm like, I ain't trying to disrespect you. I'm just going based on the numbers. And you look at like really look at what's going on. I don't know, not no type of hotep and conspiracy theory. I'm legitimately like, yo, we're losing friends out here.
Yeah.
We're losing moms and dads, uncles, and it's almost like though, like you can't even talk about it. So how do you think that it could have been avoided as far as in the Black community, or do you think there's some things prevalent in our DNA? And I'm kind of getting real deep with you on the science-based stuff, but do you think it's in our DNA that was going to happen as an inevitable, or do you think that had we made better choices, that the effect of COVID-19 would be nowhere near as what we deemed it as? Because at first, brother, I ain't gonna lie, I thought melanin was gonna be the shield.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like everybody was like, "Yo, you got melanin, dog. Good.
We all right.
We gonna be all right." It's them white folks. It's them other cultures gonna really go through it. Right. So, what do you think of that plays in?
Man, you're right. That's a heavy one, just because talking about it has been a little taboo. You know, and especially just in the sense, like, I mean, that shit hit home for me. Like, my homie lost his pops last year. Wow. And it, you know, likely COVID related, but the one thing that we've always talked about, every time we talk about it, he was like, you know, man, my pops the type of dude who wouldn't have told us if he had other health stuff going on anyway. So I think that's what it was. And if I'm looking at it from my scientific brain, the DNA aspect, like, who knows? It's hard to, that's the part that's the unknown unknown. Well, in my opinion, that's the unknown unknown. Sure. But the known unknown for me is that we could take better care of our health as a community. Sure. And by doing so, it likely could have changed the way that this virus has affected our community. If we were a community who was truly aware of wellness as a whole community. Because the one thing that I've seen, like, I just pay attention, like, the individuals I know who, you know, are aware of and intentionally living through their wellness, like intentionally eating, intentionally practicing mindfulness, intentionally, you know, caring to the relationships that feed them and not the ones that steal from them and take from them. Like, those individuals, even the ones who I know who may have come in contact with COVID and had it, no one's had a serious run-in of symptoms. And that's where it's like, I haven't had a flu shot since I was 17. And that's the only time I got one, I think. Maybe I think I was 17 because I was going to college or something. And I've only had the flu. Like, the real flu that you be sick once, that time. It's the only time. I haven't been to the doctor. Like, the regular, I've been to a holistic doctor, like I told you. I've been to the doctor. 12 years, 13 years. Wow. But I'm intentional about how I eat. Okay. I'm aware of my body. I look at my poop, bruh. Like, it's not a game to me. When something is off, I'm checking into it. I'm gonna research. And if it ever got to that point, I'm gonna find the nearest holistic doctor and I'm gonna go see what's up. Outside of a life-threatening injury, though, you would have, if I'm in a hospital, I'm getting paid for it. That's just not where I'm going. I don't believe that they know more about taking care of my wellness than I do. They haven't been in my body long enough. The studies that they use for hospital knowledge, who do you think they're trying to save? And that's just where I really come from. Like, when I really think about it, I'm like, a hospital's a business, y'all. We all have to pay bills. It's not covered by anybody. So if the hospital's a business, what is their business? What are they dealing?
All they're doing is healing on keeping you medicated so that you keep coming back.
So the only thing the hospital actually sells is drugs.
Right.
And that is really as a proxy through pharmaceutical companies. So what is the hospital actually doing as a business? What does it make money off of?
Making sure you're keeping you sick or making sure you're safe.
They have to keep you there.
Keep you there, right.
Hospitals are just jails with a different mechanism.
That's dope. That's deep.
If I could keep you sick, I could keep you here. Just like in jail, if I keep you stupid enough, I keep you here. Because you'll go back out in the world and do something like what you did the first time and you'll be back. It's the same concept. The hospital is the same concept. So the hospital is a business. Does not want you to leave. If you leave the hospital, or if you die, now the hospital can't make any more money off of you. But if you stay in the hospital alive enough that you don't die, but not too alive that you can go home. Now, what does that sound like?
It sounds like some jail stuff. This is wild, though.
But what else does it sound like? That sounds like, let's see, what are the terminal diseases that plague our community?
Oh, yeah, cancer, sickle cell.
Sickle cell.
Yep. And that's another thing. Like,
oh, wait.
I'm gonna let you finish.
Heart disease.
Dad brought up something.
Heart disease do that to you at the end.
That's
what they do. They get you for a month or two.
Yep.
They get you that long stay, and then your family gets stuck with that bill, 30 racks out of nowhere for somebody who's gonna die. Already gonna die. They tell you, and then they send you the bill. They tell you like, hey, he's got a month, and they send you the bill because they're a business. They renting rooms in that bitch. It's a hotel. For lack of better, it's like the most expensive. Like if it's not a jail, and the only reason it's not a regular hotel is because they are literally trying to keep you there. They will give you drugs. They'll try all types of shit in your body. They'll do everything except give you an actual resource for real wellness. They will not feed you good food. They will not encourage you to move your body, do yoga. That's not what they'll do. Now, if you get physical therapy as a part of, like, you injure something, yeah, they'll do that. Because then, all right, let's get you out of here because we'll eventually heal up. Right now, you're taking up space for the next person. Like, nah. But if it's like, hey, this is a part of your whole wellness program, this will overall help you get better. Nah, they're not worried about it. They're not building wellness programs for people in there. That's not what they're doing. And if you wanted somebody to be well, if you wanted to heal somebody, health, with the hospital claims that they provide, you would be focused on someone's wellness. People go to the hospital with a disease and leave with a nutrition plan.
Wow. I'd love to see the day that actually happens. And that gives me further really thing I'd love to see is brothers out here actually take the energy and effort to want to get better or want to be cleaned internally, if you will. I have to go back into when it comes down to, why is it that, at least on a holistic level, that we're not seeking better health opportunities, and what can a young man do, right away, or start like researching or planning ahead to be able to make that kind of decision?
It's one of those things that it's a cultural thing. So I'm glad it's called Culture Unplugged, because one thing that we could really unplug from our culture is that we don't grow up talking about how important it is to take care of ourselves, take care of our mind, our body, our spirit, our energy. We don't really, that's not what I grew up talking about in my house. Now there are some people that are my age that have children that talk about these things. I think the next generation will be different. For those of us, like the young people who still not getting this from their parents or from the generation above you, like let this be your example for somebody who could sit and talk to you about, why it's important. Because the thing I'll tell you now is that it might not seem like it right now. It might not even seem worth it right now, because eating healthy food isn't fun. You don't get any cool points for it. And at your age, the only benefit you're going to get is the actual life that you're going to live, and the benefit that the life itself will experience. So whatever you like to do, if you like to paint, that extra inspiration you need in your brain, eat a little healthier, be a little bit more mindful. See what happens to that inspiration. If you like to play basketball, you like to play football, you're a sports person. See what happens when you eat a little bit healthier and how that affects your performance, your mindset, your movement on the field, on the court. Like, see what that does to you. These are this is stuff I didn't find out till I was 25. I told y'all before, I was a Division I athlete. I almost cried when I found yoga and healthy eating because it made me think to myself, I knew for a fact at that point that I never got to my highest potential. I knew it then, for a fact. There was no question. Because I didn't have all the tools. It was when I was like, dang, how did a white boy just beat me somehow? Bro probably had nutrition at home. Who knows? He might have had a parent who just was mindful enough to be like, hey, you're going to go to this yoga class once a week. Or just somebody who could out coach him to be mindful in his activities. Whether it was eating, whether it was whatever. So that was just, the realization for me that we need an example, like, ultimately. Like, that most of us need an example. Like you said, most of us need a spark. We need something that's going to show us or kind of throw a wrench in the routine to wake us up. And be like, yo, there's another way to do this. And that's why I say, like, to the young brothers, like, when you see something, don't be afraid of it. Especially if you're feeling invited, you're feeling intrigued. You see something that's different, and it seems like it's something that's going to be good for you. Doesn't matter what anybody says. Don't matter if it's your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, whoever, your best friend. You gotta tell them to fuck off. And that if it's good for you, then let it be good for you. And if they love you, they will rock. I promise.
True.
And they'll appreciate the growth, just like my brother right here appreciates what he's seen from me, as I will appreciate what I see from him as he grows.
Man, look, I appreciate it, man. I definitely will hope that on any level throughout this episode that you've gained a new perspective, because I can tell you firsthand, I've walked among brothers that just didn't care about, how they went to bed with somebody and kept it moving with the next new person the next day, and it was nothing. It was like, hey, I'm good. Next couple of days they coughing, and they're wondering why. I don't want it to be you. I want to make sure you're always safe, whether it be by the food that you eat, by the women, the company that you keep. I'm telling you, like, these are so important and vital for us. I know for me, I'm being accountable by even being on this platform and creating it. Being with my brother here with Daily Growth Yoga, you're doing, amazing things. How can, like, somebody's interested in yoga in general, like, because I have been, I think I tried Pilates and almost broke myself, literally trying to do that. So to kind of get, being on your journey with the yoga, if somebody wants to actually, find a way to do it, who do they talk to? How can they connect with you? What are you offering?
I was going to say, they could definitely call me, man. Well, don't call me, but I have a website, www.dailygrowthyoga.com, dailygrowthyoga.com. And the thing about, like, yoga, this is like my best advice, and this changes as I've been practicing longer and as I've been teaching longer. And through being a teacher, what I've realized is, like, every teacher's not for everybody. Like, there are literally students out there in the world somewhere that, like, would not enjoy my class. It's a very strong possibility. But there are also those students out there in the world who, the way that I teach, my style, my class is exactly for them. If you see a teacher and you see someone who practices that's offering a class, and you feel like you resonate with them as a person, for some reason you feel attracted, that's who I would go check out. Find somebody, maybe the person that looks like you. Maybe it's the person that you know personally. Even if you don't know them well, it just might be somebody you went to school with, somebody you know from around the way, friend, family member, something like that, And I say, like, find somebody who talks and teaches in a way that you feel like supports your learning. Like, when entering a practice like yoga, the practice of yoga is mental, it's physical, it's spiritual, it's energetic, but it's really, if you encompass it all, it's the practice of paying attention. Like, that's my favorite definition for it so far. So when you're trying to enter a space where the practice that's happening is paying attention, that includes the teacher. The teacher has to practice paying attention. The teacher is setting a space so that you are supported in your practice of paying attention. But if that teacher's experience in life mimics or mirrors or is similar to yours, then that space might feel better for you. Because yoga is not a thing where you can just go to like a workout class and it'll feel good just because the workout was good, or because the teacher knew what they were doing.
Right.
Now, teacher being good, like it could be a great you could have a great teacher in a yoga class. I've gone to classes where there's been a great tiny white woman teaching a class. She's excellent at what she does. Her cadence, her energy, her voice, it just didn't hit for me. It wasn't my favorite class. It was a good class. I would never not recommend. Like, there are people, I have white friends, white people I know who I'd be like, yo, you will love that woman's class. You might come out crying that she is the best teacher you've ever found for you. It's not hit for me.
No doubt.
And that's just where it's like, go to what's going to feel right for you. Yoga is more like think of it and take it with the same intention like you would choose a church almost. And I don't mean that like lightheartedly because, my mama go to church, bro. I take church just as seriously.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? Like, my mom is also one of my yoga students. And she comes to me for the like, you don't get physical movement necessarily in church. Like, you might dance a little bit, you might clap, but you're not getting your physical wellness out of church. And if it is feeding your spiritual wellness, then it will support and mesh well with physical wellness.
No doubt.
It feels a lot better to go dance in church when you just stretch them arms and them legs out. Now you get your groove on, so like it complements each other. When you work on breathing, singing in the choir becomes, a thing of joy, a thing to enjoy even more. You can increase what you are offering the communities that you are a part of wherever. Because this practice is about paying attention to what you got going on.
That was solid, my man. Definitely solid stuff. And I think anybody who wants to turn their life around, who's been captivated like I have, sitting on this end of this couch, talking about, just overall a different perspective, I'm inspired. I would want to actually at least get a session in and see what it's all about. Not now. I
got one for you, bro.
But I'm always.
They're gonna want to see it though. If you do it, they're gonna want to see it. They be like, you gotta post it. Bro.
I might have to do that. I may have to, actually. I more likely would. This is who I am. But no doubt, I appreciate you just collectively on this tip speaking with me about this topic, because I have always wanted to make sure that if anything I do with what I'm doing with Culture Unplugged is I'm gonna plug in the nonsense that's coming out of what the media say or what the general environment is saying is right, and tap into what's really good for you and put in the best influence for you. So I'm just grateful and humble. So fellas, if anybody, you're out there, you're watching this, whether you're home, whether you're at work or whatnot, make sure you really stay in tune to your health. Make sure that you are really taking heed to what Marcus is saying, because I do believe that it'd be a benefit to you in your life and where you're trying to go, and making keep you here on earth longer. I know a lot of times people say, oh, we all gonna die anyway, but the time that you're here on earth, why would you not want to live a life of pain? At least life is already wild as it is.
Hey man, like
why complicate your life even more?
Like the OG Lil Duval said, live your best life.
Live your best life.
I'm going back and forth with these niggas.
Exactly. So
it's real simple. And for real, and if you need help, please, here's a resource. I'm telling you, as you know, if you haven't figured out by now, this brother is a resource. Christopher Rudder. I met this brother several years ago. Been a resource for me. I'm the type of person, I have many associates, not many friends. This is a brother I would call a friend. This is a brother I met in the workspace that is sitting on my couch in my mama's house right now. So you got to understand that this is somebody who is a resource because he's even decided to do this and put it out. He decided that a platform is needed for brothers like you, hopefully, that are watching this, that could really find that connection for all the different types of things you need in life. He really trying to unplug y'all from the stuff that they say, which we know to not be true, because we've been graced with the ability to live through and see some different things. So all we doing is just sharing what we've experienced, and I hope that y'all see that here's resource number one for sure. And I'm, again, another resource right here. So feel free to holler at me, hit me. I'm on Instagram, the same place, Daily Growth Yoga. Holler at me. Yeah, we here for y'all.
That's absolutely right. And then not only connected with my brother Marcus, of course, you have any questions you want to tap in through me first to kind of get to Marcus too, go ahead into my Instagram at coveredculture_. or my official Culture Unplugged page on Instagram at Culture Unplugged. Always want to make sure that you stay locked and loaded every week. We're going to have episodes tackling a whole lot of different subjects, and I want to make sure you get connected with it every time. You never miss a beat, so you know where to go ahead and do it, and that means clicking on that notification bell. So until another episode, from me and Marcus, back to you. Stay unplugged.